lace up my shoes, chase W's, great colored coops. Uno, no, I can't be number 2. MVP the league most valuable, they sweet as apple juice. Talking trophies, I didn't grab the few, can't match this attitude.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL is in Houston, in the Space City at NRG Stadium. The scene from a few moments ago, this crowd enthusiastically cheering on their Texans as they emerge from the locker room. And we're just about ready for football as the Texans get set to match up with the Dallas Cowboys. And we are underway from NRG Stadium in Houston.
Let's go. Right there. 54. 54 Mike. Here we go. Check it. 55.
Now a first carry for Lamar Miller. A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be second down.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up third down. An early task, 2 plays in. This is 3rd and 2. Out of the gun, Watson. Throw left side, taken in by Miller. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs. First down, a run with Hyde. And they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. 2nd and 10. Looking to throw on 2nd down. Watson being chased out left. And he'll avoid the tackle there with a slide. So from Cowboy territory now, here's 1st and 10 at the 47. The first carry now, this is Johnson. And he's got this one across midfield into Cowboy territory. Tackle there by Leighton Vander Esch. From the 45 on 2nd down, Watson. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
Here comes the 7th play of this opening drive. They've moved it well, but here's 3rd down. From the gun, here's Watson. And the throw there going to be incomplete. Looked like he had a couple of different options as far as who to throw to on that play. And who am I to say this, but I'm not sure he made the right decision.
Well, the window of opportunity is always going to be small in the NFL. That's why those quarterbacks who make quick decisions and have quick releases have the most success in this league.
On 4th down, Watson. And he's got the completion to Hopkins. A defensive breakdown allows a pickup of 16 on 4th down.
Well, peel back the curtain, partner. We've got a pretty good look into how they plan to play this game. Aggressive seems to be the word. Going for it on 4th down in that situation.
Yeah, opening drive. Now, we know this coaching staff, they have traits of aggression in their history, but what a start to this game. They're going for it.
Yeah, a lot of people might say reckless, but they got it. 1 for 1 on 4th down here early in the game.
Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9.
Watch the slant. 54's Mike. 54's Mike. Check. Watch 54. Watch 54. Target. Shift.
They keep it on the ground. This time it's Miller. And he'll go down right on the edge of the red zone following a pickup of about 7 or 8. The impressive opening drive continues and just space being created by those guys up front.
We're seeing this the same way, aren't we? We are seeing an offensive line, as this game gets started, as it starts to unfold, that they are dominating the line of scrimmage. But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
Watson now to throw. And he is out of bounds, looks like right at the 15. Well, we kind of looked at each other as they decided to go for it, but in the end, great execution, a 6-yard gain, and it all works out.
1st and 10 at the 15-yard line.
The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. The toss play. This is high. And they go the wrong way here. Knocked back to the 20. That really sets them back. A loss of 6.
Check, block 54, block 54. Hey, here we go. Hey, watch that. Hey, he's trying to go.
Now on 2nd and 16. Watson. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Sean Lee. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 from back at their own 10-yard line. And nowhere to fit that football in. It's knocked away and incomplete. The linebacker, Zach Cunningham, there defensively to make that play.
Well, let's have some fun while we have a minute here. Fantasy drafts are in full swing. I know I've got my family fantasy draft coming up, Charles. Who would be your top 3 picks? I know that you're a noted fantasy football expert, so who would you take?
He's got a man, complete. Past the 20, 10, touchdown, Cowboys. Randall Cobb, an even 90 yards. And they are able to strike first here on their opening drive.
Well, the game had been pretty uneventful offensively until that big strike.
No doubt about it. Almost felt like they were just going back and forth a little bit in the first quarter. But in the second quarter, things ramped up a little bit. Things jumped up. And you're exactly right. Going to make a highlight film or two. We'll be watching that one later on today.
Extra point by Moore, up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And they had a nice little drive going last time. Through the interception in the red zone. Costly.
Bad enough to throw it anywhere, but that drives coaches insane when they're thinking about, hey, we've got a shot at points already. We're already in a spot where you're thinking you've got 3 on the board for sure, and to come away with nothing, that's a really tough one for them to swallow.
Yeah, will they make up for it? They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
We've already seen him catch a few passes out of the backfield in the first half, unable to connect on that one.
Certainly seems like getting him the ball out of the passing game, though, is part of their game plan.
It certainly is because he catches it well, creates a mismatch. You're going to cover him with a linebacker, a corner, a safety. They feel like he can win every battle.
Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by Jeff Heath. And they will finally bring this run back to an end, but not before he's down inside the 5-yard line at the 4. Suddenly it's 1st and goal after the interception. A quick change in the situation here. Now Elliott. And this one will wind up with him losing yardage. Back to the 4-yard line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
From back at the 4, here's 2nd and goal.
Come on, D. Man left, man left. Hey. 4 down.
Prescott to throw it. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by Justin Reed. And he will bring it out past the 20-yard line. Well, Charles, while we have a moment, you know what we need to do here is give a nod to the new Hall of Famers who were brought into Canton and inducted on August the 3rd. Champ Bailey, Pat Bolin, Gil Brandt, Tony Gonzalez, Ty Law, Kevin Mawai, Ed Reed, and Johnny Robinson, all part of the class.
Fantastic class. When you talk about guys who played at a top level, obviously they're Hall of Famers. But what I found interesting about it is you've got a great pass catcher, the best pass-catching tight end in history, in Tony Gonzalez. How would he like to work against his secondary? Champ Bailey and Ty Law at corner, Ed Reed and Johnny Robinson at safety. Good luck trying to get open against those four. What a matchup that would have been. But it was a terrific night for those gentlemen. Congratulations. And, of course, Ed Reed's bust will go down in history because they got the hair exactly right. And Ed had a ball up there in his Hall of Fame speech.
And remember, next year they're going to celebrate the centennial year of the NFL with a special class of 20. So get ready for those speeches.
I wonder if they'll do it like Johnny Robinson this year, who actually submitted a video instead of going up to the podium. And his speech was about 5 minutes long, which is probably about the right length.
It's a gain of 6 on the play, and they're going to face a 3rd down. Watson looks to throw again. Hopkins on the grab over the middle. And he will have the first down as he's brought down up near midfield. Give him 7 yards on the play as they do pick up the 3rd down conversion. 2 minutes on the clock. Second quarter, 7-0 ball game. Fans, a reminder, I have a note card here that says ad-lib halftime preview. So I guess let's do just that as we'll hand things over to... And he's going to be swallowed up. Sacked back at the 45-yard line. Defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence applied the heat. 2nd and 14 as they've got work to do here after the sack. Here's Watson. He's going to air one out. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
3rd and long. It's Watson. Now he'll go deep down the middle. And this is taken in at the 5. Touchdown, Houston. DeAndre Hopkins, 54 yards, as they are now on the board here in the first half. And it's no good. He misses the extra point, and this remains a 7-6 game. So with the missed PAT in his rearview mirror, he goes back out to kick this one off. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. Still more than a minute to go, so there is time if they want to mount something here.
Not only time, but they have 3 timeouts at their disposal as well, so that changes everything that you're doing here. Without those timeouts, you can only work the sidelines, hoping to get out of bounds. Here, the middle of the field is still available because you can call timeout and regroup.
On 2nd down, it's Elliott. A very good move, but for a relatively modest gain out near the 32. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. On 3rd and 1, here's Prescott. Complete to Jason Witten. The Cowboys going to use their 2nd timeout now as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this first half. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. They play fake to Elliott. Now Prescott under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. The sack there by J.J. Watt. Coming up now on a 2nd and 15 following that sack. Prescott now. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. That's caught inside the 20. And he'll be down deep into Houston territory. Now whistles and a timeout with 3 seconds left in the first half. So 3 seconds here remain in the half. On is the field goal unit to see about getting 3 points. Marr able to put this one through. Time for a break. We've hit halftime. 2 quarters down. 2 still remain. We step aside. This is the NFL on EA Sports. The Cowboys will get the football first here, and they have the lead as well as we are underway in quarter 3. That'll be taken in the end zone. And the decision to come out is going to cost him 5 as he's taken down right at the 20.
The Cowboys take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the 3rd quarter.
I like the way you turned that, because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies, try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
We'll see if they do just that. A big play there on the catch and run. 45 yards.
It's not a surprise when you read scouting reports and watch tape because you know he's a heck of a player. But he is so difficult to get down in the open field. They just want to get him the ball and let him do his thing.
Prescott looks to throw on first. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back. Complete. 7 yards on the play, and it'll make it second down. Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. 2nd and 3. To throw is Prescott. Completes it right side to Cooper. And they move this all the way down to the 9. 22 yards there, a first down. To the air again, Prescott. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete. Amari Cooper, his intended receiver, but it'll be 2nd and goal. Another shot from the 9 on 2nd and goal. And again, it's Prescott. That ball is caught. It's Gallup. Touchdown, Cowboys. A 9-yard touchdown there. And the Cowboys, they push out in front further. A good, sustained drive there in this third quarter, capping it off with a touchdown to give them a nice 2-score advantage.
It was actually a fun one to watch, wasn't it? I mean, for me, seeing the mix of what they did, how they moved the ball downfield, very sharp, too. Each and every play seemed to be executed with great dispatch.
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. And their halftime hole now even deeper, and they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down.
Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. He got 29 yards that time. Watson now 8 of 15 through the air, but it's 1st and 10 here. A shotgun snap for Watson. Underneath for Johnson. It'll be a pickup of only a yard, and that'll make this a 2nd down. They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Now Watson. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Hopkins. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43. In need of a conversion on 3rd down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. Watson. And for a 3rd time tonight, he's intercepted. Chidobe Awuzie with a pick. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Well, Charles, if you think so far the early part of the preseason, who has stood out? If you take a peek back at the draft, really the first round was pretty defensively minded, but there were 3 quarterbacks taken. Kyler Murray first, Daniel Jones 6th, Dwayne Haskins 15th. Of those guys, they've looked pretty good.
I agree with you, Brandon. When you talk about those 3 quarterbacks, and you're right, the rest of the draft, we're talking about big linemen, right? We're talking about defensive players, not a lot of skilled players in the first round. But let's take the quarterbacks very quickly. Kyler Murray, by acclamation, went to Arizona. Everyone excited about it. And I think his team remains excited about his prospects. They're eager to see him play. He became the starter as soon as he was drafted. Daniel Jones, that was a different situation in New York. The fans weren't real excited about him coming in. But the reason they drafted him has a similar demeanor and talent to Eli Manning. And he's acquitting himself quite nicely in the early going. And Dwayne Haskins a little more up and down in Washington. But they love the big arm of this guy. And he's back at home. Remember, he grew up in Potomac, Maryland.
Prescott finding Witten. And again the footwork. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. That one a first down pickup of 8. Prescott going to come up 1st and 10. And he's hit on all 5 of his pass attempts on this drive so far. They'll throw again. Prescott going right side. He has Witten. And he'll go out of bounds in the red zone just inside the 20. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. To the right side, he's got Cooper. It's complete. And they'll get this down to the 10. Big hook up there, forced to throw it on 3rd down. The connection's going to keep the drive alive and also keep the clock moving.
Yeah, and from a defensive perspective, didn't get a sack, didn't knock the ball free, didn't break up the pass. The clock keeps running on you. You're in a dire situation now.
That's good for a gain of 6, 2nd and goal. If nothing else, they've already taken a couple minutes off the clock here already as they come up 2nd down. They'll try to sweep with Elliott. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Cowboys, they push out in front further. Well, that turned out how they wanted. Run the toss play to the left side, go for that pylon, get in there.
And just being able to understand where the pylon was and sneak it in there, well done, well executed.
Extra point by Marr, up and good. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Following the touchdown, here's Marr to kick it away.
The Texans take over first and 10.
We gonna work
At their own 25-yard line.
The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And with 3 interceptions thrown already, we'll see. Do they rely more on the ground game here?
They may have to change things offensively to try and settle things down, not just for the guy throwing the ball, but for the rest of the offensive unit, because their confidence has to be shaken a little bit. And you just wonder, is the backup going to start to warm up a little bit over on the sideline?
They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. Now it's Watson. And that one almost intercepted. Far too loose with the football here. Nearly a 4th pick. And it's 3rd down. So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. He finds his target, Fuller. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. Out of the gun, Watson. Going deep for Hopkins. That's caught inside the 20. And he takes this down deep on the Cowboys side of the field. Watson to Hopkins for a huge hookup. 44 yards. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down. Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same Same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
Now a second down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. DeAndre Hopkins once again the intended target. And now it's third down. To the air yet again, Watson. And it's caught. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. DeAndre Hopkins, his second touchdown of the night. And the Texans get a bit closer. He has his 2 scores, but still a sizable deficit in this game.
Do you have him in fantasy football this week?
Unfortunately, no.
It's too bad, right? That would have been big points, but he is really trying to rally his team as best he can. Things are not going as well the rest of the way for them. That's why they're down. With this deficit, he might need to score a couple of more times to give them a chance.
And the Cowboys are able to recover. And some room to work. Touchdown, Cowboys! A very rare kickoff return on an onside kick. And the Cowboys, they push out in front further. Marr now to add the extra point. And that'll make this a 3-score game as the lead moves to 17. So now the other return teams out there as they'll try to duplicate what they just saw. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
Let's go, baby.
Now a first down throw, Watson. The hook up on the right side to Hopkins. And they get to him after a gain of 6 to the 46. 6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4. To throw is Watson. Throw left side taken in by Miller. And he gets this to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. On 1st and 10, Watson. Pressure from his right, and he goes down hard, flat on his back. DeMarcus Lawrence able to drop him that time for his 2nd sack of the evening. After the sack on 1st down, Watson, and he'll slide down to avoid the tackle. And he's going to have another 1st down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys' 33.
Sometimes guys get locked into such a groove. What do we call it? The game's slowing down. They see everything happening almost in slow motion. They see the lanes develop. I feel like he's right there.
Well, and you want this from your leader, right? With this deficit, this stage of the game's second half, no quitting him.
0.
He's going to let it fly. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down. Just nothing there again. He's been sacked multiple times. We've seen the interceptions, of course. He's really been through the ringer, hasn't he?
And what we've seen is a defense that's well coordinated. The front and the back really in sync. The front putting on the pressure, the backside being ball hawks and picking passes off.
And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. Picked off by Jeff Heath.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
47.
following the interception. Here's Prescott. And they're going to get him. He's taken down for a sack back at the 47-yard line. J.J. Watt, his second sack of the night. So this one will end in a victory for the Dallas Cowboys. And they were buoyed, Charles, by a big second half to put this one on ice.
And I know a lot of people watching this one were thinking to themselves, I bet halftime was really interesting. Probably took the paint off the walls with some of the words that were said. But I get the sense it was much more of the adjustments they made. They came in with a game plan that we saw that didn't work in the first half. They made the adjustments necessary, went away from that, and then they got it together, got a spark, and then took off. It's real